Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're zooming way in to look at the invisible chemical engines that literally dictate the health of our planet. I'm talking about microbial metabolism. Let's dive right into how these microscopic powerhouses actually harvest their energy.
All right, here's our roadmap for today. We're going from macro environmental impacts all the way down to micro-electron transfers. We'll hit the power of microbes, making sense of metabolism, catabolism versus anabolism, classifying carbon and energy, and finally, redox reactions.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the power of microbes.
So before we get into the nitty-gritty internal chemistry, we need to establish the sheer scale of what we're talking about here. Take acidic mine drainage, for example. When water and oxygen hit sulfide-oxidizing bacteria during mining, those bacteria metabolize the sulfide and pump out massive amounts of sulfuric acid. The result? A highly acidic environment that just completely wipes out aquatic life. It's totally devastating. But flip the script and look at the root nodules on a plant. Inside those tiny nodules, nitrogen-fixing bacteria are doing something absolutely essential for life on Earth. They're converting atmospheric nitrogen into ammonia, basically spoon-feeding the plant a highly usable nitrogen source. It's incredible, right? The exact same microscopic chemical engines that can destroy an ecosystem are also required to build one from the ground up.
Moving right along to Section 2, making sense of metabolism.
Now you're probably wondering, how exactly do these tiny microbes pull off such massive environmental feats? Well, you might recognize this absolutely terrifying web as the KEGG metabolic map. Take a deep breath though. No single cell is out there performing all of these reactions at once. It's really just a theoretical map showing the overarching diversity of what's chemically possible in biology.
So let's distill all that visual chaos down to something much simpler. At its core, metabolism is just the sum total of all the stepwise, interconnected chemical engines at work inside a cell. That's the whole shebang.
Which brings us to Section 3, Catabolism versus Anabolism.
Think of metabolism as a constant, ongoing balancing act. On one side, we have catabolism. This drives exergonic reactions, basically deconstructing complex molecules to harvest their energy. Then, on the other side, we've got anabolism. This uses endergonic reactions, spending that exact same harvested energy to assemble vital new building blocks. It's kind of like building with Lego bricks. To build something new and complex, a cell must first break something else down.
All right, Section 4, classifying carbon and energy.
If we really want to understand microbial diversity, we have to look at how they get their fuel. And the scientific prefixes here pretty much tell the whole story. For carbon, we have auto, which means self-sourced inorganic carbon, and hetero, which means they get it from other complex organics. Then for energy, photo obviously means light, and chemo means they rely on breaking chemical bonds. But here's where it gets wild. Under chemo, we have organo for organics, and get this, litho for rock. Yes, rock. Lithotrophs literally harvest energy by eating inorganic rocks like reduced iron. How crazy is that?
I mean, this really cannot be overstated. Lithotrophy is completely unique to the microbial world. Surviving on inorganic rock is a literal biological superpower, and it is completely exclusive to prokaryotes. There's no animal or plant doing anything like this.
So, when we map all of this out into categories, humans sit squarely in the chemo-organo-heterotroph box. We eat complex organics for both carbon and energy. But notice the highlighted section, the chemo-litho-autotrophs. This is a wildly unique corner of biology. It's occupied only by microscopic, inorganic engines like hydrogen or iron-oxidizing bacteria. They are just out there doing their own completely alien thing.
And that leads us to Section 5, Redox reactions explained.
So driving every single one of these metabolic classifications is the atomic transfer of electrons through redox reactions. Electrons are basically the fundamental currency of cellular energy. Here's how it works. Oxidation removes an electron and reduction adds it. The golden rule here is that they are eternally coupled. An electron can't just float off into the void. If a donor loses it, an acceptor absolutely must catch it. They happen simultaneously, every single time.
Let's look at the chemical extremes to really get a feel for this. Take fluorine gas. Fluorine is a highly aggressive oxidizing agent. It is absolutely desperate to suck up electrons from anything around it. You can think of it as the ultimate chemical thief, just relentlessly stealing electrons.
But contrast that with lithium. Lithium is the ultimate reducing agent. It's so eager to donate its electrons that it never even occurs freely in nature. It gets oxidized immediately. Microbes are brilliant at this. They exploit these exact differences in electron eagerness to harvest energy in this beautiful atomic flow of power.
Well, we've journeyed from the sheer devastation of acid mine drainage, all the way down to the atomic transfer of a single electron. As you can see, microbes are the undisputed masters of this chemical universe. They exploit every conceivable source of carbon and energy, from sunlight all the way down to solid rock. So I want to leave you with this. Considering the vast, unexplored, extreme environments on our planet, what other unusual metabolic strategies might microbes be using in the hidden corners of the Earth? What alien-like chemical engines are still out there in the wild just waiting to be discovered? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep asking questions, keep digging, and I'll catch you on the next one.